Okay, so my last video got cut off a little bit. That's okay. On to video 2. Now we are going to recolor all of the roses. And then I'm also going to show you how to liquify things. Okay, so right now I'm looking at my image and I'm just Command T and I'm going to resize, spin, and just kind of overlap some of these. And again, Command J. You're going to have a lot of roses. Okay, but let's just start with these 3. So what I'm going to do is, for right now, I'm going to turn off my visibility on my sketch because I don't really need to look at that right now. And I'm going to Command click on one of the thumbnail images on my layer. Okay? If you Command click on this part, it doesn't work. It has to be on the thumbnail image. And what will happen is it will make an active selection on whatever layer that is. Okay, now I'm going to go to my paintbrush and I'm going to pick a color. In this case, I want it to be like a dark navy maybe. And I'm going to set my blending mode to, let's say, overlay. Do you have to do overlay? No, do whatever you want. It's a lot of trial and error and just looking at what looks good to you. And then my opacity is 38. And now I'm going to paint my rose. And you will see, amazingly, that the rose only gets painted where you're inside the selection. Okay? Okay, now let's do the next one. Same thing here, Command click, and now that rose is selected. You have your brush, and I'm going to change the color to like this lighter blue right here. All right, so let's see. I like that. That's very TylerSpangler-y. It's just getting bluer and bluer. All right, that looks really good. And now my last one, same thing. I'm going to make that one like a little bit more, yeah, we'll see. I really like this color. Yeah, it's not quite as green as I wanted it. Let's try if we do like a different blending mode. Yeah, there you go. So sometimes you just change your blending mode of your brush and that will give you a good effect too. Okay, now in order to not select anything, it is Command D, as in deselect. And now you can see, you can move things. And you have these 3 colored roses. So now the tools that you guys have right now are to make a selection, to duplicate a layer, and to change the color using the paintbrush and an active selection so that your brush and color stays inside your active selection. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to show you today is for another part of the project that's coming up later on, but you guys might need it now. So we are going to duplicate this flower. There it is again. I'm going to Command T, make it bigger. Again, I don't need to hold down my shift. And if I wanted to bring it down to the bottom, which I do, I can just click and drag my layer so it's at the bottom. I actually don't think that looks that good. Let's bring it up one more. I don't know. I think the problem is that it's the same color. All right, well then let's change the color. Okay. Easy enough. Let's make it like a dark green. B for brush. Doesn't really look like it's doing much. Let's change to overlay. It's not making a huge difference. That happens. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Command D. Okay, now we are going to, with that layer selected, we are going to go to Filter, Liquify, and it will bring you into another workspace. And again, you can scale your brush up and down by the left and right brackets. And you can see all of these different options here. These are really fun things to mess around with. If you're doing a face liquify, you want to use the face aware liquify. But for right now, we're going to just go to the forward warp and we'll just kind of try and see what that does. Okay, there. Now, I can see the impact that it has right away, and I think I'm going to just take my pressure down. Just so it's not quite as... And that is how you get the dripping effect in Photoshop. Okay. I'm going to say okay. Again, if you wanted to reconstruct this, you're like, oh my gosh, I went too far. If you hit that, the reconstruct tool, which is also R, it will literally just put your flower or whatever you made completely back together. There's a lot of other options here, okay? Blow to push left, free. The freeze, that is if you wanted to just liquify one part around it. What you do is you paint this, and then that, it's like a mask. And then you can go to the warp, and it will liquify everything except what's in the mask. Yeah, and I like the other one better. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so we're just gonna bring the rose down, melt it a little more.
Good morning.
You guys can hear the announcements in the background. All right, once you have your rose or flower or face melted the way that you want, you are going to say okay, and there it is. And then you can transform it from there and just like make it smaller, and of course you can duplicate that. But that is the Liquify and some other Photoshop tools. That is the end of this video.